Hey everyone, my name's Andy and my channel's Finding Value. If you like this content, subscribe and click the thumb up button. I'm going to go over an article here. It says California reveals that the transition to renewable energy isn't so simple. So they're having all these problems with all these renewables that they're putting in with rolling blackouts. So I'm looking at this article here, and they've put in a lot of solar, they've put in a lot of wind, and when the heat comes in, everyone turns on their electricity to cool their houses with air conditioning. They're at home, they're on their computers, they're doing whatever the heck they want. But it's a high electrical load, and it looks like they're having rolling blackouts because they're not getting that stable base load power that you would from natural gas, nuclear, or whatever else. So I wanted to bring this up because they're having problems with renewable energy. It says part of the problem here is how much solar generation drops as the sun goes down and how much flexible generation needs to fire up to compensate. They're talking about that flexible generation, which is natural gas. The amount of solar power has increased substantially in California over the last decade. The required summer ramp up of firm generation, generators like natural gas plants that can be turned on and kept on between the middle of the day and the evening, when the sun sets and many people turn on their lights and appliances, has more than doubled. California shifts from using a large amount of solar during the day to a large amount of natural gas and imports during the evening. And the size of the shift is growing. This puts stress on the rest of the electricity grid and increases the risk that disruptions in either in-state power generation or imports could lead to shortfalls. About 2/3 of the generation ramp-ups come from natural gas plants in California, while the remaining third come from imports from neighboring states. So they're firing up natural gas like hell. They put in all this wind and solar, but the problem is sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's producing and other times it's not. And at night, solar doesn't produce and sometimes the wind isn't blowing. So what you're seeing is that you're seeing a whole bunch of natural gas power plants just get fired up all over the place. I wanted to see, just how true this was. So I did some more digging into it, and it says more power generation came from natural gas in first half of 2020 than first half of 2019. And if you look at the coal, natural gas, nuclear, and renewables, 5% more came from renewables, 4% decline from nuclear, coal was down 30%, and natural gas was up 9%. According to this article. So what's happening is they're trying to put renewables in, more and more renewables, but the renewables aren't working. And that's what I'm betting on, is that they're not going to be stable enough to provide the power that everybody wants to use with stable energy. So they're firing up natural gas and they're running them overtime. That is our investment right there, natural gas. Everyone thinks, oh, we'll just throw in a bunch of renewables. Everything will be all hunky-dory. Ha ha ha, let's float on the clouds and jump from cloud to cloud because electricity, we can just generate it from the sun. Well, the baseload power isn't there. My brother's right with working for an electric company. He's a senior manager there. He talks to me about all this stuff and how renewables are very difficult to work with because they're not stable. You have to convert them into certain power sources for the electricity. You run them to transformers. I don't know if it's the DC to AC conversion. Not 100% sure. But he says that they're firing up natural gas and they're running natural gas to cover the shortfall. So what they're doing is they're declining the coal power plants. They're putting natural gas power plants in its place. And nuclear is obviously out of favor in the United States, and they're just running the hell out of natural gas. And we can see it in the data. And that's what I want to see. I want to see articles saying, hey, look, renewables are having problems. We're having rolling blackouts in California. We can't really push the renewables too hard, and we're firing up natural gas to cover that shortfall. The data is saying that it agrees with industry insiders like my brother. It agrees with the data that I'm seeing in a lot of these articles. So I think natural gas is a very good pick. Obviously, you can see my other clips on what picks that I'm in. But I wanted to cover this with some of I know a lot of people are saying renewables can cover all this stuff. I don't know if it can. I don't know if it can. Obviously, we're going to have some way to store energy. That's the downfall of renewables right now. Storing the energy and level loading that use. We need a large banked energy. And let's say you need 1 gigawatt of power. Do you put in 5 gigawatts of wind? Because some of it's not going to work and some of it's not going to be blowing. Do you put in 10 gigawatts to get 1 gigawatt? I don't know. And I think that's what the difficulty is, and that's why natural gas is the go-to fuel in the medium term. This is Finding Value. Hopefully this information paints a little bit picture for natural gas, and that you guys can invest accordingly. Appreciate your guys' time. Subscribe, comment, and hit the like button. Thank you.